It was Tripti who wanted me to speak on self-reliance by Emerson. As we all know, American nation was formally formed in 1776. The formal formation of this nation begins in 1776. Prior to that, nearing the beginning of 16th century, this place was found, and the colonies were established in 17th century, and we have the formal formation in 1776. It is late 18th century. So as we can see, there is not much history there. It's a newly formed nation, and in their process of self-exploration, Emerson comes as a very important figure there, a very important intellectual figure. From 1803 to 1802, this person, Ralph Waldo Emerson, a very solid, a very profound, a very big mind, a big head. He had immense thinking power, immense grasping power, and he had immense expression also. So he was almost like forming the national philosophy of America. That was his stature, that is his stature. He was trained as a priest, then he rebelled against the church, and he formed his own philosophy. He came in good contact with Vedanta, Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, and he started, along with Thoreau, he started the transcendental movement in American history. In American intellectual history, transcendental movement occupies an important place. He was a champion of individualism, that God is one with the world, that the private man is infinite, that the private man is supreme. He traveled to England also. He had met Wordsworth and Coleridge. He was particularly influenced by Thomas Carlyle, and his profession was that of giving lectures, writing essays and giving lectures. So in thousands, he spoke across America on thousands of occasions. So he was a much sought after speaker. And he told Americans to develop their own style, different from Europe and different from church also. And there was a French scholar, Victor Cousin. He had written on Indian philosophy, and Emerson read Victor Cousin. Srimad Bhagavad Gita he had read, and then Colebrooke's essays on Vedas. He had thoroughly read Vedanta, the non-dualism of Vedanta, the here and now of God, that God is everywhere, where be it a tree, a stone, a building, a person, a bird, an animal, God pervades everything. Non-duality of the Vedanta. He was highly influenced. 1841, this essay, Self-Reliance, an important essay, it was written, and it says that the individual is more important than society. That an individual should fulfill her own will rather than social expectations. The true self, the true independence lies in prevailing the individual will. That we should be honest with the self. We should be honest with others also. even if we have to change the religion, even if we have to change the culture, individual progress is more important than social progress. So this is the philosophy, non-conformity. The whole of the essay, Self-Reliance, tells Americans to be non-conformists, that do not believe in the given word. Experience yourself, free thought, develop confidence, have more and more of confidence, be in close proximity with nature, be in close touch with nature. He said that it is better to be misunderstood than to follow the set path. And one quotation, it's a beautiful quotation, is it so bad then to be misunderstood? Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates and Jesus and Luther and Copernicus and Galileo and Newton and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood. So he told Americans to walk their own path, to see the path themselves, to make their own path. That nothing is at last sacred than the integrity of your own mind. That you have to be true to yourself. That is the crux of this essay, and this is what he told the American nation as such, and people listened to him, people followed him. A young flourishing nation, and here is a philosopher, here is a guru, here is a sage telling people how to go about it, how to go about their lives. He says that my life is not an apology but a life. It is for itself and not for a spectacle. I much prefer that it should be of a lower strain, so it be genuine and equal, rather than it should be glittering and unsteady. He says that I may achieve less, but I should be genuine. I don't want to be fake. I want to say what I experience. I want to experience things firsthand. He says that in Self-Reliance, he says that even in crowd, if you are able to maintain your head, even among people, if you are peaceful, quiet, if you are thinking, the thinking man, that is important. Don't copy. That is what self-reliance is, that you do not have to copy. An individual is free to contradict. Today I explore something, I decide something, I say something. Tomorrow maybe I develop, maybe my ideas develop, maybe my experience changes, and so I may change my opinion. That freedom must be there. So an Oriental also, he was highly influenced by Vedas and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. He was a non-conformist. He was forming his own philosophy, and he was fearless. And he was a great orator. He spoke throughout America. And this essay in particular, Self-Reliance, is important. He describes threadbare in detail what it means to be self-reliant. Self-reliance means having your own mind. Self-reliance means being fearless. Self-reliance means not copying others. Self-reliance means the freedom to contradict oneself. Self-reliance means being close to nature. Self-reliance means being rebellious if needed. That is self-reliance. Self-reliance means being true to oneself. Self-reliance means being able to experience things firsthand. Self-reliance is fearlessness. That is what this essay teaches Americans, and this is what it teaches all of us. So this is it. Thank you. Thank you so much.